My good people, thank you for joining us on another FCP Euro DIY. Today we're going to be working on a 2011 Porsche 911S. Today we're going to be covering how to replace the engine air filters on your 997. This is going to be applicable to the .1 and .2 models. Today we are using two Mala air filters. And what's cool about these is that they are pretty much reversible, so there's no left and right side. You do notice there are two that go on the vehicle. They have two tabs on them, so you can use them on either the left side of the bank or the right side of the bank, so pretty neat. We recommend you replace these every 4 years or 40,000 miles, whichever comes first. The ones on the 911 behind us are, as far as I'm concerned, original, so we're gonna see how dirty they are when they come out. But before we get started with this DIY, let's take a look at some of the tools we're gonna need for this job. For this job, we're going to need a few basic tools, starting with a 1/4-inch drive ratchet, a T25, a T20, a magnet tool, and then a flashlight. Pretty straightforward. Now that we know what we're working with, let's get started on this DIY. All right, my good people, thank you for joining me at the back of the engine here. We're going to go ahead and start by removing our little solenoid switch that's on the right-hand side of the airbox. To do so, you can just lift up on this little gray tab, and then push back with it, and then the whole thing will slide off. Just let it sit there to the side. Don't forget about it during reassembly. Next, we're gonna go ahead and disconnect our mass airflow sensor. Now there's a tab underneath that you cannot see, but you simply squeeze, and that'll allow you to free it up and remove it from the mass airflow sensor. So you just squeeze from underneath, give it a little wiggle, pull back, set that over to the side. And now you're going to need a T25 to remove 8 fasteners all around. So let's get started with that. So there's going to be 4 fasteners up front and 4 in the rear. Just be very careful when you take them out. It is easy to drop them into your engine bay. Again, it is a T25. What also helps in this case is if you have a magnet tool handy to fish them out. And now with all of those removed, the last thing to do is to undo the clamp that holds the intake boot to the throttle body, and we can pull this lid off. I'm using a flathead screwdriver. Here are 2 filters. You can see these are pretty nasty. Looks like they haven't been changed in a long time. All right, with our lid off, you can see our 2 filters. They're completely disgusting, as I thought. On either end, you're gonna have a T20 screw that holds them into place. So we'll show you here on the driver's side where it is. Just undo that. With that loose, you can pull it out, set it to the side. And then your filter is simply going to pull out away from the airbox and towards you. While we have the filter out, I'm going to go ahead and clean up this area a little bit, get any loose debris out, any leaves. I'm going to spray some APC on a towel and just give everything a light wipe down. All right, with that quick wipe all set, we're going to go ahead and take our new filter and place it on. The open end simply keys into the airbox, and then again you have your tab that the T20 locks in place. Just like that. You know it's seated properly if you don't have to fight your T20 back into its home, and just snug it down. It doesn't have to be too tight. Now we're just going to go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. Now we can go ahead and put our lid back on and wrap up this air filter replacement. Now we can go ahead and reinstall our lid. Just as a removal, you want to kind of key in the bottom first. And then you can put your 8 Torx screws back in. Again, those were T25s. Boom, baby. Now we have our mass airflow sensor that needs to be clipped back on. Don't forget your wire can just route behind the airbox. And then you have your vacuum solenoid that needs to slip back onto the clip over there. Just gonna get that top tab to go back in the airbox like so. You can feel the solenoid on the other side. Just give it a couple tugs, make sure it's not going to go anywhere. Booyah. And there you have it, my good people. Another DIY in the books. Overall, a straightforward job and a very important one at least. If you like this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions or comments on what we did today, leave them in the comment box below. And if you like this DIY and you want to see more like them, please consider subscribing. We make new ones all the time. As always, thank you for watching. We'll catch you on the next one.